Hello, my name is Allison, and this is the Team Big Sister Milestone 2 video. You can see that picking up the scrap piece will open up the first locked world. However, you can also go into the training portal, which will take you into the metric scene. All of our current features are in the metric scene. You can see our new features. There is a freeze grenade that the player can pick up and then throw at an enemy. Once thrown, it'll turn the enemy into a block of ice that the player can now move around. We will also be able to freeze fire. The functionality is not there yet, but the fire can hurt the player. Also, you can see our battery and generator. You put the battery inside of the generator, it'll turn on, and it will be able to turn on different buttons, pressure plates, and platforms. The functionality is just not there yet. And then I want to show you the distractible grenade. The enemy was already frozen, so we had to go back in. Once you have it, you can throw it at the enemy or near the enemy, and they will come running to it and stand there and then go up back to whatever state they're supposed to go to. In the first level, you can see a button. The player pushes the button, and there will be a cutscene. Shows them where to go. They also can go pick up a freeze grenade out of the freeze grenade item pickup box. They'll need to freeze the enemy. And then you can move the enemy onto the elevator. Go in there and get a jetpack from the black item box. And then use your jetpack to get to the upper level. And then you will push the button. It'll bring the elevator up, bringing the enemy up with it. And you can grab that enemy ice block and put it onto the pressure plate to open the door. Once the player's at the door, they see the platforms and they can jump onto the platform to the stationary platform, which there is another ice grenade pickup box. Move on to the next platform to get over to where the enemy is. And also there's an oxygen refill station. The player will need to freeze the enemy and then take the enemy and get them onto this timed moving platform, which actually needs to be sped up just a little bit. You'll see here once we get the enemy frozen again. That platform is just a little too slow because right here, if you miss it, it takes way too long to come back to the player. but that's something that just needs some adjustment. Okay, then you have to get past the lasers and get the box on the platform. And you'll have to move it to this other one over here with the pressure plate. And that opens up the next area, which you can double jump to the stationary platform and then double jump to get into the open room. You push the button, it opens up the locked area there, which has another ice grenade box in there, just in case you need one to freeze this enemy, which is not moving, so apparently something did not go onto Perforce correctly. And that doesn't work either, so it looks like a couple things need to be updated on Perforce for this level, and we will go ahead and move on to level 2. Okay, the player will need to retrieve a bomb. These items will be in item boxes. They're not at the moment. And the player will need to use this movable box to get up on to the top of this building to place their bomb. Once they get the bomb placed, it'll explode and open that small hatch. You'll need to get the battery. And then you'll need to get a freeze grenade. You freeze the enemy. And once you put the battery into the generator, it should power up this button on the opposite wall. However, that functionality is not in just yet. It will open the door. The player has to get around the enemies to pick up items that they'll need to complete the next area. They'll use their jetpack to help them get to the hard-to-reach platforms ahead. Ideally, we want the player to go to the left. That will also be changed, so they have to go to the left. So we will go ahead and wait on this platform and show you this ship over here to the left, the second one. The platform brings you to it. You jump on and you grab the jetpack and place your bomb down. The bomb will again open the hatch underneath it, and the player can fall down there, and they have access to a battery, an oxygen pickup, and another freeze grenade. The player can then use the jetpack to get back up to the platforms and get over to the right side, which will have the third ship. Get a little oxygen refill, and you'll place your battery, which again will power the button in the room. Again, that functionality is not there just yet. And that will reveal an enemy, which the player can then use the ice grenade to freeze the enemy. And then they can use the enemy as a movable object to move out to the edge to be able to jump up to the top level where you'll find the scrap piece, which will open the portal, and the portal will take the player back to the player hub. Next is level 3, which will be taking the fast route to collect the scrap part and enter the portal to the hub. This is because this level is strongly designed around the fire, and the fire needs to be able to go out, and that functionality is not there yet. So we're just taking the quick route to show you that there is some setup in here, and that you can get back to the player hub. Next is level 4. The player will need to get the movable box. And then you see if you don't make that jump, there's a ramp to help you get back up there. And you can get the movable box. And you'll need to get it on that elevator with you. And push the button, and it takes the player and the box down to the next level. In this area, you can see a turret on one side of the wall, and there's an ice grenade box on the other side. The enemy, or the player, can actually freeze the turret, and then they can move that box safely onto the pressure plate, which will open the door. And also there's new camera functionality there, where if you hold the right mouse button, it follows the player movement and rotation completely. Here is lastly our level 5. The player will need to get the bomb from the item box and place the bomb in front of the destructible wall. Once it opens that wall, it reveals a movable box that the player can pull out and move onto the pressure plate. And the pressure plate will open up the little blue hatch that was on the floor. Once the player drops down, they can get a battery pickup from the green item box and place the battery inside of the generator, which will turn on the elevator. Again, that functionality is not currently present. The elevator will take the player up to the next area. This area, they will have to get another battery from that green item box. Put that into the generator. And the generator will power the pressure plate, so now that box will be able to activate the pressure plate when it's put on top of it. Again, that functionality for the generator is not in there yet, but it will be. Player can then take the elevator up to the next area, which is a maze of stationary platforms. The player will have to utilize their double jump to make it across all the platforms, and they'll have to do it with good time so they don't run out of oxygen. There are a few oxygen pickups along the way. Make your way across, and you'll see that there's your scrap collectible. And we did not make it, so we will do that again, hopefully pretty quickly. Again, that's the double jump that they're using and the speed boost at the same time for the longer gaps. All right, here we go. We get our scrap collectible. It opens the portal, and the portal takes us to the credits because you have beaten the game. That is what we have this week. Thank you for watching, and I hope to have wonderful feedback. Thank you.